Hi, my name is Noor and I'm interested in pursuing a career in strategy and life sciences consulting. For this project, I used FutureLearn as a case study to evaluate strategic options for improving course completion rates within a UK EdTech platform. My objective was to identify the most effective solution whilst balancing commercial performance with cybersecurity and regulatory considerations. So I graduated with a first class in biomedical sciences, including a year abroad at Queen Mary University. Throughout my degree, I developed strong research, analytical, and communication skills, and I wanted to build on these by applying them to real business challenges and problems and learn how consultants develop structured, evidence-based recommendations to solve organizational challenges. Before beginning this project, I already had strengths in critical analysis, evidence synthesis, scientific communication, and project management. However, I wanted to develop consulting-specific skills, including stakeholder synthesis, issue tree thinking, strategic recommendations, and business decision making. I chose this project because it provided an opportunity to learn how consultants break down complex problems and turn research into practical business decisions. The client challenge was to determine which strategic option FutureLearn should prioritize to improve learner completion. I evaluated three options: cohort-based learning, AI-driven pathways, and micro-credentials. Although FutureLearn operates on a both B2C and B2B business model, I chose to focus on the B2B side because employer partnerships provide recurring contract revenue and are strongly influenced by learner completion rates. Lower completion rates reduces employer confidence, leading to lower contract renewals and reduced recurring revenue. Therefore, the recommendation needed to improve learner outcomes whilst also strengthening business performance. Rather than selecting a solution immediately, I started with a hypothesis. I proposed that learner completion was driven more by accountability than content sequencing. If this was true, then cohort-based learning would outperform AI-driven learner pathways by improving course completion, employer satisfaction, and B2B renewal rates, while maintaining acceptable and regulatory risk. I then tested this hypothesis using multiple sources of evidence. To test my hypothesis, I reviewed 4 key sources of evidence. FutureLearn's own data confirmed that low completion rates remained a significant business challenge. The CIPD Learning at Work report suggested that learner engagement and accountability were greater barriers than content quality, supporting my hypothesis. I also reviewed competitor examples, including LinkedIn Learning and Coursera, which demonstrated that cohort-based learning can improve engagement. Finally, I assessed guidance from the National Cybersecurity Centre and UK GDPR, which showed that although cohort-based learning introduces additional cyber risks, these risks can be managed through appropriate controls. Based on this combined evidence, I concluded that my hypothesis was supported. So I recommended a phased B2B cohort-based learning pilot. Here is the potential roadmap for my hypothesis. So we'll start with the pilot, strengthen the controls, measure the KPIs, and then scale. So as mentioned, I recommended that FutureLearn prioritized a phased B2B cohort-based learning pilot. I chose a phased pilot because it would allow the organization to test the effectiveness of the solution, gather stakeholder feedback, and refine the approach before committing to a wider rollout. This reduces implementation risk while providing evidence that the strategy delivers measurable business value. To manage cyber and regulatory risk, I recommended implementing controls including multi-factor authentication, discussion forum moderation, role-based access controls, and GDPR compliance measures. These controls help protect learner data while ensuring the platform remains secure as collaboration between learners increases. Success would be measured through a range of KPIs, including increasing course completion rates to above 30%, improving learner satisfaction, increasing employer renewal rates, and maintaining low levels of security incidents while remaining GDPR compliant. I also recommended and considered the trade-offs of this recommendation. Although cohort-based learning requires greater moderation, higher operational costs, and offers less flexibility than AI-driven learner pathways, I concluded that these disadvantages were outweighed by the potential to improve learner accountability, strengthen employer confidence, and increase recurring B2B revenue. Reflecting on this project, I developed several important consulting skills, including hypothesis-driven problem-solving, stakeholder analysis, and evidence-based strategic recommendations. More importantly, my thinking developed. Rather than jumping straight to a solution, I learned to define the business problem first, test hypotheses using multiple sources of evidence, evaluate trade-offs between commercial value and risk, and justify recommendations through structured reasoning. This project has given me a strong example that I can use in my CV, interviews, and future consulting applications to demonstrate structured problem-solving, strategic thinking, and evidence-based decision-making.